What's happening, guys? It's February 15th. It's TMD. I'm on the mean streets of Marshfield, leaving town to head out to the world headquarters. So come along. But I don't miss those days at all. Doing that snow plowing, snow removal, not one bit. However, I got to get out here to the farm and to the world headquarters and plow out their driveway and lots and stuff like that. A lot of things like that in life I don't miss. I used to be a dairy farmer many years ago, like 25 years ago. And basically just farmed my dad's farm for a couple years because I thought I wanted to try it, but I don't miss that. Then after that, guys, I raised bison. After I got rid of the dairy cows, I brought bison on the farm out there, and I had them for about 20 years. It was fun for a while, but got rid of them, sold them coming up on 5 years ago during COVID, and I can say I don't miss that. I don't miss that one bit. I've been pretty good at letting things go. However, guys, there are some things that I would miss, and those would be 14 things. My 2 kids, and then my collection of 12 vintage 80s and 90s 3-wheelers and 4-wheelers. So 14 things in life I would miss. After I was done with the dairy cows and I bought the bison, what I did for full time for about 20 years in there was I had the weirdest business. I had a mobile auto body repair business. And I had an equipment trailer and a truck and stuff, and I did light auto body repair on the go, on the move, on site. I went mainly to dealerships, car dealerships, and did stuff like that. And that's what I gave up and got out of 3 years ago to get into Maple full time. But I don't miss that at all. At all. I don't miss that one bit. As I get older, I'm getting better at letting stuff like that go. That doesn't mean that much to me. Now I'm into Maple full time and I enjoy it. I like it. It gives me freedom to be my own boss, to do what I want, you know, call the shots. But when the time comes to move on from this, I think I would walk away from it, and I really wouldn't miss it that much either. It would just be on to the next thing, on to the next adventure. On our way out, guys, to the shop, I gotta go through a town called Chile. This is Chile, Wisconsin. Not a lot left here. There's an old feed mill that doesn't operate. Back there is a post office. But I remember back in the day when I was a little kid, that was a grocery store. There was a hardware store over here. There was a bank there. There's a Lutheran church there. That little auto repair shop, passed by there, the guy just died. His name was Simon. Took my cars and vehicles there many times over the years, but he just passed away, so that place closed. There is a Case IH dealer here. All right, we're here at the farm. I gotta get the old snowplow hooked up. The first time this year. So this will be fun. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. All right, so I got to drive back in there and get that thing hooked up. I'll tell you, life does come at you quick. My son Jack, he's graduating from high school this year in just a few months, a little over 3 months. And then the same thing for my daughter, she's graduating college. It's insane. Well, we're up here at the world headquarters, got to plow this place out. Gene is out there shoveling the front sidewalk for me, that's nice. You know, like I was saying before, these different things that I've done, these different things that I've experienced or done for work over the years, I look at them as all kind of a chapter in my life. And now with my kids, that chapter is closing as far as them being kids. Legally, they will all be adults. They'll always be your kids. But it's crazy to be at that next stage. You know, I've been divorced a long time, since 2010. And in that regard, my best times or my biggest accomplishments, you know, the marriage didn't work out. It wasn't a good match for a marriage. We're friends now. But luckily, I got a couple of great kids out of that, and that is my biggest accomplishment in life, for sure. So I found out in my life, you know, that I am more of a guy that values experiences and enjoying what I do rather than chasing money. Obviously, because I wouldn't have made all the choices I've made in my life if it were based on money. That's probably one of the worst ways you can make choices in your life, is based on money. But with that being said, for the most part, I've enjoyed everything I did, but I've also had a loose grip on it, which I think is a good thing to do in life too. Have loose grips on things, because you don't know what twists and turns are going to occur. You don't know how life's going to go. You don't know how things are going to change. But I do know this case, that's for myself anyway, and I think most people who would be reasonable would admit this. When you're old, when you're looking at the sunset of your days here on this earth, you're not going to look back at them and say, gee, I wish I had worked another weekend instead of going to my son's basketball game or whatever it might be. You're not going to do that. Or you're not going to look back and say, man, I wish, or I'm so glad I didn't plan that weekend away with my wife, or that special trip with my kids. Those are the things that you're going to remember. Those are the things that you're going to be glad you did. Anyway, we moved down here to the other side of the woods because I thought I'd show you what I did yesterday. So let's go out here and take a look over here. I put in this sap lift ladder thing. So guys, for you that are just curious as to what this is, over here to the left on the screen is about 240 taps that are low. They're lower than the shack over here where the sap comes into, so they can't flow into it on their own. Even though we have a vacuum pump and releaser, it's at a lower elevation than the rest of the woods, so you have to build something called a sap lift ladder, and that's what these things are. All the taps from this side of the woods on the left are going to come in right down here on this line. Then they have to be lifted up into this pipe to make it over to the sap house. So when the vacuum's on, the sap will go up through these tubes, you know, vertically, and for each set of these it can do 60 taps, I guess. So that's about 240, and that's what about is over there on that side. But the vacuum will pull it up. It's not as efficient, quite as efficient as having it be able to gravity flow in with the vacuum, but it's still not that bad. It's just that you'll lose a little vacuum on the other side of these lifts. This project is coming along pretty good at this point. It's February 15th, and you know, I'm hoping we've got about 3 weeks left to get prepared for everything, because Albert, he's up in woods number 4 today, and he's working on maintenance and repairs up there. But this one again is the new install, and I've got to put in saddle manifolds on the main line today, and that's what I'll be doing. I'll be going around and just doing as many as I can for a while here before I head out. And then we got to drive up to Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin I'm leaving right here from the farm to go see my son's basketball game up in Chippewa Falls. So like I said, don't miss that stuff. And for those of you that are the uninitiated watching, and I hope there's a lot of you actually, because I'd rather reach a much wider audience than just the maple audience, because that's pretty small. If you are a maple people, you know what I'm talking about. But for those of you that don't, this is a lateral line. Those go back to the tree, and these are called drop lines. This part right here, this length of tubing right in there, that's your spout. That's going to go in the tree. Sap goes down that, and then that goes into your lateral line. We follow that back down, and it goes past another maple tree. Pick up the sap from that tree, and then this bigger blue line is a main line. This is 1-inch main line. But here at the main line, your lateral line, here's another tree, has to be able to get into this, so the sap can get into there. That's where this is going to get attached to that with a manifold, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Now I know the maple people watching this will say, you got to get the spin seals, because that's the way to do that. You don't have to attach this fitting on here and all this stuff. I don't want to buy one, okay? I don't want to buy the latest thing that you have to do this, because if you don't draw the line with this maple syrup business, you can spend money endlessly. And my goal is to turn a profit and not just spend money on it like it's a hobby, which is what most people do. It's probably one of the reasons why I actually do this for a living, because I do watch my expenses and costs and make purchases that are good, that are needed when they're needed. All right, guys, on this one, we're gonna put that saddle manifold in on this side. So I'm gonna move that wire down. Drill like that. Woo! Pull out your shavings and kablam! You need your barbed fitting. You need a screw. Screw right there. You need this plastic thing, the base. Then we're gonna need a gasket. Right there, the gasket. Okay, here we go. Thing you want to do is you want to put your gasket in. Then this was the tricky part right here. It seemed a little tricky anyway, but I think I got the hang of it. And you tighten it down real nice and snug. Move your wire back over. Get this boom. All right, that's done. Well guys, I'll tell you, that is a labor of love right there, because it's time consuming. You know, when you look back at life when you're older, I'll tell you this, you're definitely not going to look back and say, I wish I spent more time scrolling on my phone, or I wish I spent more time watching Maple Dude's YouTube videos. No, you're not going to say that. I sure hope you wouldn't. But when you do look back, and if you didn't handle things right, you're going to regret not spending more time with your family, more time with your kids, doing things that you enjoy, instead of constantly being on the hamster wheel or the rat race of life. And that's just more and more into my consciousness as I'm getting older and things like that, that at the end of the day, that's what life's all about. For me, it's about putting God first, then my family, then my country. And do I always honor those three the perfect way? No, I don't, but I try to do the best that I can each day. And I can say that one thing I've been proud of is the way I was raised was very traditional, old-fashioned, old-school values that you don't see a lot today. You don't see it celebrated a lot. But you know, in my business and in my life and the things that I've done in my life, I've never cheated anybody. I'm always proud to say that. I've never treated anybody dishonestly. I've always treated everyone fairly and done my business and done my dealings very upright and straightforward. And I think that's lost today too, that the fact that it just seems like today everything's gotta get every single penny, dollar that you can get out of it, squeezed out of it, you know, in business and dealings and things like that. And you know, I just wanted to treat myself fair, treat other people fair, and that's what I've done. And you know, I definitely know I live with a clean conscience in that regard. And you know, that's something that I hope my kids pick up from me and carry that legacy on and carry that on to their kids and my grandchildren. So that's a little TMD logic right there, guys, as I sit out in my truck eating cheese curds made right here at Lynn Dairy in central Wisconsin. You know, today it's February 16th, and I think it's about 13 degrees right now, but it's so peaceful out here. And with the sun being out, it's actually not that bad. It's not windy, the sun is bright, and I'm out here working without gloves on, because that sure goes a lot faster with all these little pieces and parts and the tools if you can go without your gloves. People probably think I'm crazy. Most people probably wouldn't like doing this, but I still got these old dairy farmer hands. I grew up on a dairy farm and did a lot of stuff without gloves in the winters and stuff like that. And if you think my hands are tough, you should see my dad's. Those are some mitts. It's refreshing sometimes being out here like this. Nothing, no media, no smartphone. Just out here listening to the trees, really. And if you listen, they do make noises, even on calm days like this. And just like that, guys, it's starting to get cold out here. I can feel it coming on. Tomorrow, we're supposed to only have a high of about -2. So, about time for me to head on out. I hope you found this video entertaining, enlightening, informative. Please like and subscribe. And remember, always keep it real.